Now recording.
All right, Mitch, why do you hate being called Mickey Mitch? What is the problem with that?
For context, okay, he was called Mickey Mitch before, and I liked the name. And then when I brought him on Now Recording, he was like, "Don't call me that! Don't you call me that! You understand me? My name's Mitch, or Shock Mouse, please."
Why do you sound like DSP?
And I guess
I wouldn't have said please.
Yeah. I went through he went through another rebranding where he's like, "I'm changing my name to Mitcho, guys," and we were like, "That's a terrible name. Go back to Mickey."
Yeah.
And and he's like, "Well, what's a good name?" And we were like, Mickey Mitch, dude, Mickey Mitch. He's like, no. And they were like, "Well, I'll prove it's a better name." We put out polls, fucking Mickey Mitch won. Like, yeah. And now Mitch is miserable now because his name is Mickey Mitch again. So we'll go back to Core's question. Go ahead.
Well, since you forgot the question, all right, Mitch. The question was, why do you fucking hate Mickey Mitch so much?
It's not a name that Australians really have, Mickey. It's not a. It's no.
That
Bro.
Mitcho?
What?
Imagine if I came to you and was like, "Hey guys, my new name is Matto."
That's a name though. That's an actual name. Like, isn't
Matto?
Mateo an actual name?
Not
like
Mateo, Matto. Don't
Matto.
change the name.
Matto.
Oh my god.
No.
Hey, I'm Matto.
Meadow.
I think Mateo is quite nice. I think that suits you.
What about what
You're
about
Mateo
Mitchy
now.
Mitch?
No.
What about-
no.
What about Mitchy Mitch? Because that's what everyone accidentally calls you all the time. Back when you went by Mickey Mitch. Yo, it's Mitchy Mitch.
I don't like that.
I don't know. The whole thing, right?
Italian.
The whole thing was like, I want a comedy name because I'm going to do stand up, and it's like Mickey Mitch is a funny
Bro,
fucking name.
the
Mitcho is
Mickey
not
Mitch
funny
show?
at all.
That just rolls
Yeah.
off the tongue.
Alliteration. It's got everything.
Fine.
Bro, he's like on the border of himself.
Welcome everyone to Now Recording. I am Matt Pitt. With me today is Core Master,
Hello.
Toxic Piplup,
Hello.
Beckett,
What's up?
and Mr. Oh yeah, Mickey Mitch.
I'm fucking miserable because I've had to get up early for this, and I missed yesterday's episode that we did when I actually knew some facts about that topic, and now I don't know any, and I missed that because I slept in, and I'm sad.
Well, it's
I
fine
don't
because
know.
we have someone to tell us about it. We have someone to tell us about this topic today. Our topic's going to be Yandere Dev, and one of the major Yandere Dev experts, a guy who's made probably like 6 to 7 hours worth of content on Yandere Dev, probably more than that. He's been on our podcast before multiple times. Welcome, FPS Diesel.
Man, I'm eating some hardtack right now. Completely unrelated to Yandere Dev, but you know, I just thought I'd share.
All right, let's start with Yandere Dev. Beckett, did you have any questions before I start asking a bunch? Because I know you were interested in this.
Yeah, I definitely am. I think my cool one is how did you fucking end up here? Because I mean, it seems like the new stuff you've brought out is really new. It's kind of a different angle to a lot of what's been covered already. What fucking possessed you? Because you've been covering this topic for like years, right?
Yeah, when I was like, I'd been doing Yandere Dev content from when it was like popular, where everybody was making fun of him for being bad at coding. And there was like, because Kiwi Farms would go and like A-log everything about him. And it was stuff about his time when he was on like 4chan and how the game started. And it was like weird shit about his history, right? So like he had bought a sex doll. He had like, been a NEET, and he would write articles about women with fat tits in video games. And so from there, I did like a few videos where some of it was like really cringe and I was being really mean. And then he made a video where he was like, no one ever reaches out to me. No one's ever asked for my side. And I was thinking, you know what? I have kind of covered him without asking for his side. Let me go ask him. And he was like really apprehensive at first. But for some reason, his like former compatriot, Cameron, really liked my content and how I'd become more like serious. So we became mutually friendly. I don't want to say friends. And he got me in contact with Yandere Dev, and the interview at first fell through, but I had published a video that was basically me being like, listen, this guy is an absolute disaster of a human being, but I kind of just feel bad for him, and I can't help but have some sympathy for, the struggles of being this person who is just constantly berated by the internet about their passion project, right? And so that was my last video. And then what ended up happening is that like 3 years later, this pedophile allegation comes out. And so then I start going back in, and then over the next 5 months, I'm like working these people and talking to them about every single little bit of their lives, up until when I put out the 3-hour expose.
So before we get into the whole thing, right? Just a little background on Yandere Dev. I watched a couple of videos before we started the podcast. I wanted to catch up over stuff that I've forgotten, and I had forgotten how big that Yandere simulator was, right? So Yandere is some genre of like anime where like the girl's in love with the guy and she will do anything to be with the guy, including like murder and kill
It's a
people.
work of fiction.
Yeah, it's a work. Well, no, yeah. Well, it's a work of fiction, but it has happened in real life with certain situations, especially in Japan. I think there's like a really big situation that gets compared to Yandere about a Japanese woman who stabbed her boyfriend because he was going to break up with her. But so it's a big part of anime culture. And what I didn't realize though is like when the game was being developed and it was being played by people like PewDiePie was playing it, Markiplier was playing it. And so it gained a lot of traction, and like there's many YouTubers like Cinnamon Toast Ken and all those guys that got millions of views just doing playthroughs of like the small portion of the game. So the criticisms that I've seen that Yandere used to get early on is he was trying to develop this game in 2014. It's 2024 now, and he's barely even gotten to like a quarter through developmental of the game. And he kept getting distracted. He blamed his distractions on getting too many emails for delaying the game. And he'd be like, please stop emailing me stupid things, guys. I answer all my emails, so you got to stop emailing me these stupid things. It's distracting me. It's wasting time. He also responded poorly to criticism, like when Diesel was talking about the code. He would respond poorly in situations which would allow him to get memed on even more. He has retarded takes. He overshares, especially with the age of consent. At one point, he got into a debate about the age of consent due to people questioning the morality of the game because the game looks to be like an underage girl in a high school. And he basically used the age of consent is different in other countries, kind of argument. And that allowed him to get memed on even more. And also in the game, one of the big things was it's probably been retconned now, but at one point it was about underage characters. And in the beginning of the game, you can change the color of the girl's panties by walking to the closet. And a lot of people really cringed at that and really criticized him for it. But he's become a joke, and to the point where there's been this huge rebellion against him, and a whole Reddit has been made to criticize him, and that's called r/Osana. Diesel, you want to tell me about r/Osana real quick?
Man, those guys fucking hate my guts, bro.
So what are they? What is r/Osana?
So it's like an anti-community, like the anti-Onision community, or like any of those communities that springs up like with the deliberate intent of like just pack watching a guy, right? And I mean, you know how it went with the anti-Onision community, where everything got like really vitriolic and stupid, and basically it just made Onision look better because these people were absolutely deranged. Really, it was just originally a place to talk about the game, because they all got banned from the original subreddit. But it became that place where all these people who were mad about the game would congregate. And, hurt people collect hurt people. So a lot of these people are also like really mentally unstable or have really weird takes of their own. Like there is definitely more than one pedophile involved in this story.
Really?
Yeah, there is GoFundMe. I wouldn't call it fraud, but like this chick ran off with GoFundMe money. The people in the server are like, Lolly's okay, I guess, but or There are people who are like, I was here from the beginning, and then I go and I check their logs, and they've only been covering it for like 3 months. Or there's people who are like, I'm homeless, please give me money, I'm mentally disabled, and it's like, go get a job.
Yeah, and there's so many players in this this drama that, and a lot of it kind of is all right. Let's go with the players, right? The players of this drama.
Yeah.
All right. So this drama pops up again. Yandere Dev's being accused of being a pedophile. This happened before, right? With some fake screenshots.
What's funny is that one of the calls that I didn't release, but like it's been said repeatedly, is like one of the guys, Cameron, said that Dev in the past was accused of being a pedophile. This is related to a drama with a character called Sisef, right? And that's where like the first pedophile allegation came from. And basically Yandere Dev produced this story saying this guy is a fake. It's actually a guy, not a young girl on Tumblr, and they're faking it. And he has like a whole page on his debunk page about how Sisef is actually a liar. I'm still a little rough on the details on Sisef because it's been a couple years, but that was when it originally came out, and then it came out again.
Yeah. So all that was proved to be faked, right?
If you are in the anti-community, Dev is doing gay ops to cover it up.
Okay.
So really, I don't know if it's fake or real. It could be either or. Gotcha.
All right, so the major players of this drama, Ali MCC, a YouTuber, what covered Yandere before. What is she all about?
So Ali is a nanny, and she is very passionate about retribution.
Wait. When you say nanny, do you mean nanny or like an actual?
No, like a nanny, like works with the youth.
Gotcha.
I'm already concerned.
Yeah, so Ali wants like she has this like want of retribution for victims of sex crimes. And in the past she had covered Dev because she was also a fan at one point. Wow. And basically her videos were just the usual like, oh, Yandere Dev's cringe and blah 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 blah, repeating everything that everybody said. Right? And then somehow this lady got in contact with the quote unquote victim via Discord.
Right, so now another player has been brought in, right? Who's the victim?
The victim is a young lady by the name of Anne, who I have been told that's not her name, and this is another Osana thing where they say, Anne's not her name. I have her real docs. Great. Okay, you have the real docs of a minor. That's not insane, but all right. But that's Anne, and she's the minor who contacts Ali, and they start working together.
Okay. And how? Wait. So Ali is working with a minor in what way?
So it's picture this. It's July.
Right.
Anne comes to Ali's like, I'm talking to Yandere Dev. He's grooming me. She's like, that's great. Can you screenshot it for me? She says, yeah. Ali's like, that's great. Make sure to keep doing that. But if you don't feel comfortable, stop. And so this kid's getting attention.
Well,
of course, the kid's gonna keep doing it. And so she does the Mama Max thing where there's like moments of doubt coming from the minor, and she's like, no, you got to keep going. You're going to protect so many people. You're going to save so many people if you do this. We're making the world a better place.
like it's fucking honeypotting with a minor.
Welcome, Beavers, by the way.
My mic was muted the whole time I was talking. I had a funny bit when you were like, oh, but those were all disproven, and then I was going to be like, well, where there's smoke, there's fire, Matthew. But yeah.
Good one. All right.
Well done, Beavers.
It would have worked in the fucking moment, all right? It would have worked in the moment, but my mic was muted. I even unplugged it and replugged it. All right.
Yeah. You're desperately like, they must hear this. No. Blah, 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 blah.
There was literally a window where I'm like, it can still work if I get this mic to work right now. It can still work if I get this mic to work right now.
This is the funniest joke of the podcast.
Haha, pedophiles. All right. So Elliot,
Good one, Matt.
Oh,
Outstanding.
Ellie MCC, and what's the other girl's name? And are working together to take down Yandere Dev because he is flirting with Anne, right? And
Yes.
Or now, in what ways were they working to get like screenshots? Is there like video recording? Like, what's going on here?
There's screenshots, there's video recordings, there's voice calls, there's Snapchat conversations, text DMs, Discord DMs, Gilded DMs, which is a Discord competitor.
Jesus Christ, this goes on.
What else?
It's like patting the minor on the ass and sending them into a den of pedophiles. It's just like, go get them, chump.
Is Gilded still
evidence.
around?
Yes,
Like,
there was group chats to coordinate information with other TikTokers and YouTubers to get this minor to get information.
And what kind of like what are we talking? How far down the pedophile rabbit hole does Yandere go? Is he like getting nudes? Is he like really doing legal things?
I don't have proof of it, but if you put a gun to my head right now and said, "Do you think he has received CP?" I would say yes, right? Because of the relationship he had with Anne. But that is just my opinion.
Your opinion. But obviously there's no proof or evidence of that. And
yeah, well, there's like conversations where Dev was like, well, it would be illegal if you send me pictures. And she's like, I don't want to deal with the police. And he's like, well, if you would send me nude pictures, I would be like, wow, that's hot. I wouldn't tell anybody.
So
there's like discussion of a... Yeah.
So by extension, FPS Diesel, do you believe that these illicit materials would have been sent through either Gilded or a Discord?
Okay, so what's funny is Dev's original Discord account got banned. And he did not receive an email from Discord support on why it got banned. Now, the only reason that happens is because of a CSAM-related incident. Which means that something would have been exchanged, maybe. Or it was sent over Snapchat because they talked over Snapchat quite a bit.
Yeah.
But there's some big corporation out there that's harboring the nudes of the child, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably, but also I'm pretty sure the feds have them. There's no way the feds don't have it.
Yeah.
How long ago was this? Was this because
last
didn't
summer.
you guys last summer?
Last summer.
Okay, then it's out. Because isn't there that whole thing where the government is allowed to, if you're in America, they can intercept any files you send? I swear that was a thing. It got exposed by a whistleblower. They're allowed to intercept your images.
Basically, that was the NSA Snowden leaks, and if I recall correctly, the biggest problem was if it passed through American servers, which is like most of them because Amazon. So yeah, so they're able to intercept things. The question is, I suppose the more pertinent one, is there any reason to believe that there's sort of like a law enforcement interest in Yandere?
Well, Diesel?
There have been calls with the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Like,
Uh-oh.
I picture the FBI like knocking down Yandere's door, and like, you know how like in animes like the weird teardrop shows up on the back of the head where they're like, whoa! I feel like that would be Yandere's reaction, like, oh, in like red face and just like, whoa, like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's like the living Stone Toss comic meme of an FBI agent sat there looking like at furry porn and stuff. And
Yeah.
you know, welcome to the agency, Bob. Thanks.
Yeah.
I changed my whole life, trained my whole life for this. Now I want you to sit at this computer and watch hentai for the next 12 hours a day for the next 3 years. Have fun.
Smoking a cigarette, like I've been on this job for 3.5 years, and I've seen a lot of furry porn. Man, it really gets to you.
You guys joke, but that's legitimately someone's job.
Yeah.
You got the YIF department.
All right, so the evidence that Anne was able to get on Yandere, how bad is it? Because I've seen videos of him being like, "Ooh, yeah, head pat," and like weird shit like that. And I think at one point he like argued the age of consent in a clip.
So I'm gonna answer that in reverse. So the age of consent conversation was him discussing the idea of a sex license, saying that some people over the age of 18 shouldn't be able to consent because they're retarded. But some people under the age of 18 should be able to get a license that says they can have sex because they are mentally mature enough. And you can extrapolate it from there, where you could be like 14 and pass the sex license test, but you could be 18 and fail it, and kind of extrapolate his opinion from that. And as for like the the first part of your question was what again?
How bad is the quality of the what did they get on Yandere basically?
Every time I watch the calls, I go into this like righteous rage with how horrible a lot of it is. The conversations he's having with Anne in those Discord calls are like absolutely abhorrent. There's no reason he should be talking about like genital warts with her and shit like that, or shit like cup size. She's just talking a lot about her breasts, and he's like, "Damn, that's hot." Or he's like, "You're so cute how you do that, pat, pat, pat." Right, and it's just like he's like showering her with compliments and shit.
Do you know about genital warts? No? How do I check? Well, you go do this, and then she says, "I checked, and there's nothing there." And he's just like, "Oh, you're so cute when you do that."
Hello.
God damn it! He just thought no. I'm not even gonna. No.
Listen, if there's no like, he's talking very inappropriately, and even if there's no like quote unquote crime, most normal people would look at that and go, pedophile, wood chipper. Okay, that's how bad it is.
Wasn't there a point where he was like, when you turn 18, you could get an OnlyFans or something like that?
Yeah. So they were talking about Belle Delphine, and Anne was like, "Oh, but she got a boob job, and she wasn't as hot then." Now I don't know if she got a boob job or not, but from there, she starts talking about like possible prospects as a career after high school. To which the conversation was already primed, and Dev asked the question, "Are you 18? Are you going to start an OnlyFans?" But then they have like a whole conversation about it, and she's like, "You should start an OnlyFans and do like lewd ASMR." And he's like totally entertaining a conversation with this minor about how he's going to whisper erotically on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
How old was Anne when all of this was happening?
16.
She's only 17 or 16.
Now Anne is also a character herself. I'm certain we'll get into.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But all right. So Ali puts out this video showing all the logs and stuff of Yandere DMing Anne. Now this is when you really get into the deep end, because I forget who you got in touch with first, but you ended up talking to both sides of the pedophile spectrum, the accusers and the accused. Who reached out to you? Who did you either reach out to first, or who reached out to you first? Whichever one happened.
I was on Twitter one night and I saw Cameron say, "Don't believe the lies about Yandere Dev." And now Cameron works for Yandere Dev.
Yeah, let's back up. Cameron is he does music for Yandere, right?
Yes.
And he's a content creator in his own right.
Yes, he wants to be a commentary YouTuber sometimes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so he tweets that out, so you reach out to Cameron.
Yes, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And there's a TikTok leak.
Mm-hmm.
And in that leak is some of the, things that I've quoted about, like, pat, 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 you're so cute type shit. Right. And then like a few days later, Ali drops the video. And after I had gotten in contact with Cameron, it was really easy to get in contact with Ali, because they had been talking a little bit as well, because Cameron wanted to like get to the bottom of it, I guess, right? So I very easily got in contact with Ali, and she would not share anything with me.
I wonder why.
And by the way, in the video that Ali did end up releasing, tons of the information was not included in that video. Okay.
Right. Okay. All right. So all that's happening. So you're talking to both sides. So when do you? I don't want to give anything away, but when does the conversation with Yandere happen?
Oh, like the same day it all started.
And how did that conversation go?
So I was kind of under the pretense, okay, maybe this is a false allegation, because we see a lot of those now. in the very beginning, I was like, okay, maybe this is like bullshit. Like I could see his voice being made with AI. This is totally up the alley of like an anti-community to try and pull this. So I have a conversation with him. It's really light, and he's like really sad. He's like almost exaggeratedly sad.
I think I'm fucked, Diesel. Oh no.
That's what he said.
I screwed the pooch. But instead of a pooch, it was a minor. What do I do?
Oh god.
Yeah, and he gave some like contradictory points about like what like I asked him. I'm like, were you talking to a minor? And he's like, yes. I'm like, you ever talk sexually? He's like, nah. And then obviously it was like literally like a few minutes later, I had like the Snapchat logs, and I asked them, and he just couldn't answer those questions. So
he
that
got
happened
caught
really
red-handed.
early. Yeah,
Actually.
red-handed.
So he was lying to you, and then you caught him in the lie, basically.
Yes.
And he just went full awkward. Just
it's funny. I never directly accused him of, are you a pedophile? But if you were to genuinely ask somebody who is in the hot seat, are you a pedophile? That is the kind of awkward silence that you would live in for the next 2 minutes.
Okay. So, all right, what's Cameron like during
Shit,
this?
Cameron. There are some people in this world that are so stupid, man. That I don't like. What do you do with them? Cameron would flip wildly from being like, I'm supporting Yandere Dev with no claims whatsoever, to like being worried. And over the course of the story, as he learns more, he gets progressively more and more jilted at Yandere Dev because his supposed like best friend keeps lying to him about whether or not he's grooming this minor. So he's like really passionate about defending Dev in the beginning, but he very slowly starts to change into somebody who's miserable and wants out, and he just can't leave.
I was about to say, like, there's going to be two particular people in this story that are basically going to turn into tennis balls. Like one side, boom, boom, next side, the other side, the other side. There's going to be a lot of flip-flopping going on, right?
Oh yeah.
So a little bit of context too, and Diesel, I know you'd be able to elaborate on this, but Yandere met Cameron when he was like young, right? Like he was a young employee of his, correct?
He was a teenager. Cameron was a teenager. Cameron had lied. He says he lied about his age, but I think Dev knew he was like 16. Cameron was doing this since he was like 14. Right. So way too young. He was involved with Yandere Dev at a very young age, and I was told that Dev hangs out with people, at least 20 years his junior a lot of the time.
Watching a couple of videos, he's someone said like, yeah, he apparently doesn't hire minors as volunteers. It's usually they have to be like 20 years old or 18 years old or something.
Nope.
Yeah. So that's null and void, I guess. All right. So that's happening. You're having these conversations. At what point in this story do you kind of look towards Anne and you're like, what's going on with this person? This is getting kind of weird.
So one of my news team, Nani, is like, Diesel, and this is prior to like the farms finding it. She's like, Diesel, I went back and I found Anne's like 4chan history. And after I saw her 4chan history, I didn't see it. Right, but after I like Nani was like regaling it to me. Some of it was like I was like, this needs to go to the feds. So they went. We went to the feds then, and this was like probably like a week or two after I got involved, so very early. And this was like some really insane shit that this young lady was doing online, and I went, okay, something's not right. What is this young girl's prerogative? She's really mentally unwell.
No, I don't want to go in graphic detail or anything, but I do know one of the things was, from judging by your video, is this wasn't Anne's first rodeo when it comes to like interacting with older people to try and get them to commit a crime, and that she had did this before. She kind of became like a minor who baited pedos, right?
Yeah,
Great business plan.
It was a very lucrative business plan, actually, Beavers.
Yeah, and this didn't come from like a righteous point of view. This came from I could make money doing this because I could like get these pedo simps to give me money and stuff, right?
Secure the bag. Let's go. But also,
she was getting a bag. She was getting a bag. She was getting Sims DLC. She was getting free food, money.
She was getting weird phone calls in the middle of the night.
DLC.
Yeah, she was getting a lot, and she ran a Discord server where she would teach other young people how to do it.
Oh. It's like an army of it's a pedophile's worst nightmare or a pedophile's greatest dream.
It's literally it's like I don't know what the timeline is, but the lady, the content creator lady that was like using this girl to like bait it was like a CIA contact list, you know what I mean? Like they were their operative in the field, and then they had all their agents, their sleep agents. I'm gonna train you all up. We're gonna get all these pedos.
Yeah.
Mama Max should do that.
Bro, Mama Max would be the king of the pedo hunters with the minors. Release the minors! They all just come out of the woodworks to bait a bunch of pedos. So all right, Allie's made her video. You're seeing weird stuff with Anne. Yandere, you've kind of been confirmed that Yandere's a liar, and Cameron's stupid. All right. There's going to be some point in this story, and I don't know how long it takes because we're going from like July to January here. There's going to be some point in the story where Yandere reaches out to you to ask, like, what should I do in this situation? Like, how should I handle this?
Okay, so the video comes out, and now like public discourse is going. So you got like a critical video, a Some Ordinary Gamers video. We're talking like the whole big fucking shebang is now saying, listen, this guy talked to a minor, and most of these guys covering this didn't know about Anne's history, so a lot of it wasn't covered. So I am brought into a call with Dev and Cameron, where Dev asked, listen, I need to address this. Everybody's leaving me. Everybody's leaving the project. He's like, this looks optically very bad. No shit. And basically, he's asking me for advice on how to navigate this drama and save his business and career, because he's lost all of his voice actors, all of his artists. He's having assets pulled from the game. He needs somebody to help him figure out an apology. So he asked me for my opinion on the apology video he wrote. And he specifically invokes two things. He says, I don't want to make a Colleen Ballinger. And he's like, I want to make a Quite style video because I know you helped with that.
Right.
And I was like, well, what do you have? Show it to me. And it is this video that is 9 minutes long where he doesn't really say anything. And his hair looks terrible. He's like trying to cover up his balding. So he's like combing it forward. His hair's really greasy. And he's basically like, I did talk with a minor. There's stuff taken out of context, but it doesn't matter. I shouldn't have had those conversations. So he doesn't really apologize for definitely doing things that may or may not be criminally, litigiously, something could be tried in a court. But he says things that are definitely like, I am guilty. I apologize for this, and I hope to improve. Now, nobody accepted the apology, really.
Shocking. I'm
I know.
shocked.
Well, didn't Anne accept the apology? Didn't Anne jump on the other side?
And okay, here's another thing, right?
We're gonna get into a lot. I want to cover one real thing. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Before this, Cameron goes on a live stream and brings on Anne, right?
Yes.
What happens there? This is in November.
Okay, so when that live stream happened, I got some notifications that it was happening, and I got a bunch of volunteers to go into the chat and ask questions for me. And I'm basically trying to grill this girl through third person. They're not addressing anything. They're saying repeated lies, and there's also quite a bit of rapport between Cameron and Anne.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of rapport, almost a little flirtatious. And this is in October, late October, right before Halloween.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And Thanksgiving break is coming up. But yeah, that was the stream.
Okay, we'll get to Thanksgiving break. We'll get to there. All right, fast forwarding January. Now the video comes out. Yandere's video comes out. I would say the early reaction to this video was positive for Yandere. I was watching the comments. Now he could have been deleting all the negative comments for all I know. But I was just watching some of the a lot of comments were positive towards him. And I did notice one detail. He's wearing a hat, a black hat that does not seem to fit his style. Where did that were you the recommender of that hat, sir?
Okay.
Hazel?
So here's the funny part. I saw the video before Anne that became the final video.
Mm-hmm.
And in that call, I said to him, I'm like, bro, you need to fix up your hair. You look like a mess.
You need to not look like a pedophile when you deliver.
Yeah. So I wasn't saying get a hat. I was really saying get a haircut.
Yeah.
But he got a hat. And
I think
Anne
it's worse.
Anne had said I was the one who recommended the hat, that she did. So Anne had seen the apology before him because they coordinated to produce a video that they both appreciated and liked.
Yeah. See, the reason why I think the hat's bad is because it's you normally don't wear a hat. Now you're trying to look inconspicuous. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're putting on a hat and some glasses to walk around in a crowd. And I'm one of you guys. I wear a baseball hat. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the video comes out. It's getting coverage. Turkey Tom, Mudahar, all those guys. Are you talking to Yandere at this point?
Oh yeah. We had kept friendly, and I would fill him in on things, and I'd keep him in the loop, as it were. Nothing he wouldn't already know, because I knew he already knows most of what I'm bringing him. But you want to build that trust.
Mm-hmm. And what is he saying? Is he happy how the video came out?
In the beginning, he was happy how the video came out. So I think the reception being mainly positive is what resonates.
Mm-hmm.
But then the video goes down.
Oh, okay.
And I had asked him, and he never gave me a straight answer about this. So I could speculate on it. And I think part of it is that it makes him look like it's an admission of guilt, which would be really bad in terms of an investigation. But he called it an info hazard. That was the only thing he said to me. He's it puts somebody in danger.
Like him or someone else?
I asked if it was him. He was like, no, I'm not in danger. And I'm like, Cameron? He's like, why would Cameron be in danger? And I was like, Anne? He's like, no, not Anne either. And I'm like, okay, so who? He's like, I can't say. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's weird. By the way, the thing with Anne, right? When this statement and all this stuff comes out, like we were saying earlier, Anne has switched sides. She's now pro Yandere, basically saying Yandere wasn't that bad. He's not a full blown pedophile, and Ali MCC took advantage of me and tried to force me to basically go after Yandere. Is that the narrative at that point?
That is what she said in her apology. The apology that Yandere Dev gave comments and criticisms on, so that way she could edit it to his liking.
Jesus. All right. So, how does Ali react to this?
Okay, so Ali is a big fucking moron.
Gotcha.
Because Ali this entire time was saying, Anne's not bad. Anne would never do. Everything you see about Anne online is a lie concocted by Yandere Dev or Cameron. Everything you see online by Anne is a lie conducted by Kiwi Farms or this, that, or the other thing, right? And so all the way up until this point, she was protesting Anne's innocence, even as evidence mounts against her.
Well, it's a weird pickle because she can't say Anne's a full-blown liar because she used Anne's story against Yandere. So if she's like, this bitch is lying, she's lying about everything, and you get to turn Ali and be like, is she lying about what you covered? So it destroys your source, basically.
See, so it's interesting because Anne is an amazing liar, right? Because you don't lie about everything, because then people catch you. What you do is, one, you lie by omission, so you just leave stuff out that doesn't fit the narrative. And then two, you mix in plenty of truth with the lie, so people can't fully discredit anything you say. And she is a master at that. for such a young age. It is insane how good she is at it.
So, all right, Anne's switched sides. Allie's kind of like caught up in this whole story. Yandere, has he fucked off yet after he took down the video?
After he took down the video, I think that was the same time that he and I had the last call where I asked him a lot of the really damning stuff about Anne. Mm-hmm. So he kind of fucked off after that, but there's nothing he can really do at that point anyway.
Yeah. So as far as everyone's concerned, the story is done. It's over. Everyone's came out with their side. However, Cameron goes, hold my beer, and he enters into another like solar system of different like crazy drama. So I'm just gonna say what happened, and you correct me. All right. All right. He does the stream back in October with Anne. You brought up Thanksgiving break. After that stream on Thanksgiving break, they decide to meet up. Now, this guy lives in Florida. She lives up in the upper Northeast. He drives to her. They hang out during Thanksgiving break. So you have, I don't know if she's 16 or 17 at the time, and he's like 19 or 20. They hang out in a car. Now, there's some things that happen in that car that have not been really confirmed yet. As far as I know, you can correct me if you want. But that happens. And then there's another situation that happens later where Allie brings up a crazy girlfriend that Cameron had who had accused him of being inappropriate with her before all this even happened. That's what I know. You go ahead and clean this up.
Yeah, most of that's pretty spot on. So Cameron's words to me were, she's the only one who gets me, who understands what I'm going through. So apparently that was justification for him to sleep with her.
So you're saying here that they slept together?
Yeah. Well, because in a call, he told me that they slept together. And then when Cameron calls into my stream, and I keep saying, well, you fucked her. Well, you fucked her. He keeps saying, I did not fuck her. And I'm like, but the call says you fucked her.
All right. What is the age range here?
Okay. Cameron lies about his age so much that he is either 19 or 20. I went digging through some of his history, and he is probably most likely 19 at the time of these things happening. Okay. And would have been 16 at the time of these things happening.
High school context. He wins. It's over.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. I get it. The high school context, right? But even that aside, why the fuck would you sleep with the girl that you know? Like, Cameron is one of the first people who told me about Anne's like insane pedo grooming history shit. Mm-hmm. So why the fuck would he sleep with her?
He's in it for the risk.
Dude, I think this guy's full blown like. Well, you gotta think about it like this, right? This dude is a Yandere fan, and I think any fan of Yandere is a complete nutter. Either a fan or a detractor, because detractor was once a fan. They're all retarded. So I think it's obvious that this guy, Cameron, is just a complete and utter retard. I could tell the moment I saw him on stream with Anne and back in October that this guy's retarded, because cut the cord between Yandere. All right, you didn't do anything bad. Cut the cord, dip out. Why step in it further? You're literally
exactly. Any normal person would have seen what was happening there and been like, "I'm good. I'm just gonna step away now."
Yeah, it's like, and he decides to step into it, and he doesn't step into shit. He dives headfirst into the shit and starts swimming around in it and eating it. Basically, he fully commits to this psychotic minor who's like the worst combination when it comes to internet. A minor who's out to get people, who's fucking with people. That's one of the worst combinations on the internet. 4chan or QB Farmer, whatever. They're the worst. And then you have Cameron fucking just like interacting, going to visit her, having alleged sex with her. It's not a good look. All right, so what's going on after this? Because like this is where I get really confused, because apparently like people start flip-flopping all over the place. So what's happening now?
So this entire time, Anne had been playing both sides. She recorded every call of both sides. And at the same time of the Yandere Dev stuff coming out, all of a sudden, this other woman hops on Arosana and drops a rape allegation and domestic abuse allegation.
Against Cameron.
Against Cameron, yes.
And it's a totally different woman.
This is a totally different woman.
So what the fuck is the story there?
So this annoying psycho bitch named Krexa makes this enormous allegation about Cameron, saying that he listens to women scream to fall asleep at night, and that he listens to the sounds of women screaming in his sleep.
What?
He's training himself for marriage.
Was this a once-off thing or like a thing that he does regularly?
The way it's worded, it's like a thing that he does regularly, but I guess I don't know why she said that. It's so weird.
What kind of screaming? There's
Like-
different types of women screaming. There's
Like
screaming at you to
like
do stuff.
women
Okay,
being
buddy.
murdered.
Okay,
Yeah.
buddy.
I
Okay,
mean,
buddy. You're
that's
fucking weird. You're
understandable,
fucking
yeah.
weird, brother. You're fucking weird, Mitch.
No, I just need to I'm getting the full context.
I could understand. I could understand if it was a once-off thing, because like I've fallen asleep somewhat accidentally to the BTK killer tape, right? Like the reenactment of it.
What?
How do you accidentally fall asleep?
Oh, shit.
I didn't mean to,
That's why I
guys.
put
It
it
was an
on,
accident.
and then I fell
Listening to 911 calls. You know, they get recorded, and I just fall asleep to the sound of, he's in the house. Hey, man, if you can hold on a second. Send help. Like, yeah, no, I can't really hear you. Can you speak up for me? Yeah, I fall asleep to that all the time,
fucking
Beavis. I know what you're talking about.
Didn't it turn out though that he fell asleep to like cop videos or something like that, or like
He
cop
fell asleep
cams?
to police body cam footage. Yeah.
I
Okay.
actually-
Literally the joke. Oh, fuck me.
I can't judge because I fall asleep every night to the sound of a man whispering, role playing as an Imperial officer that is promoting you to the role to the rank of Grand Moff, and then you go and meet Emperor Palpatine.
Fucking what?
That's a real video.
Okay.
Comments in the comments. Who is crazier, Mitch or Beavers?
You know what? Comments, expose yourself. What do you go to sleep to? Are you crazy?
See the videos.
Also to clarify, just quickly, mine isn't like what you guys said, where it's like the tapes of the victims and everything. Mine is a reenactment of the tape he would play for them when he first kidnapped them, and it would be like, "You're a little slut."
Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it.
That's even weirder, Beavers.
This isn't better. What are you doing?
I also want to clarify that mine is exactly as it sounds.
You know, of course, you have been promoted. Congratulations. The Empire has indeed gifted you with the greatest of all gifts. But you know, when you are promoted, then you get to seek an audience with our Grand Emperor.
Congratulations, soldier. You have joined the Imperial. And Mitch is just like passed out, like, yeah, I did it, guys. I did it, Palpatine. All right, so back to our fun little fairy tale that is the Yandere Dev Simulator story. All right, so you're at this point you're collecting everything for a massive video on this on Yandere and the girls and all this, and you're finding all of these parts to it. You found out about the other girl who accused Cameron. You found out about how evil, I guess you could say, that Anne might be. You found out how stupid and retarded Yandere is, and you found out how dumb Ali is. At what point were you thinking, like, yeah, this has all got to come out in a massive video?
I mean, to be frank, from the moment I got on the first call, I was like, I'm doing a big video on this. It's happening. Because the last time I had done this, I didn't record the calls because I was trying to, build rapport and trust. So I was genuine about it. But in hindsight, they were probably recording the calls anyway. So I just went in assuming everybody was recording everything and then recorded it back. Right. So I was always assuming it was going to be a big video. I just didn't assume it would be so complicated until you really get into it, because it is really complicated.
Yeah, it's probably more. Well, I wouldn't say it's more complicated than the ACC because there's so many years of the ACC, but it's right there with it. I just so happened to have heard it step by step while you were looking into it, so I know more than I would know about anything else. So I imagine for someone who's just like stepping in and being like, what's going on here? Very overwhelming story to understand. But really all it's kind of based on is pure stupidity on everyone's part. So is there anything else you want to say before we get into like the uploading of your video? Did you do, is there anything else that popped off?
Okay, so behind the scenes, unbeknownst to me, Krexa, which is the girl who accused Cameron of like domestic abuse and rape, is homeless, and she was living rent free in Cameron's house. Now, Cameron kicked her out because she was crazy, and I had gotten a police report of that, and it did verify a lot of what Cameron's claims were. And then all of a sudden, in r/Osana, there was this GoFundMe in there, right? Where they were raising money for Krexa and one of the mods of r/Osana to get off the streets and live somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is that Krexa made the GoFundMe, so the money went through her. So Krexa got the money and blew it on a bunch of dumb bullshit and just vanished. And apparently it took a bunch of cajoling to get her to be like giving over some of the money to the other mod who they were like homeless.
Mm-hmm.
So Krexa just ran off with the fucking money and then had to be repeatedly asked to give any money to this other person.
So she's kind of, she shouldn't be trusted either, right? Because
Krexa should not be trusted at all. And also, she's a SoundCloud rapper, so she is professionally unemployed. She is she is okay. She's homeless, but she owns a motorcycle. and she would spend money on like gym membership and like Uber Eats, but none of that money went to go finding a place or finding a job. She is doing on TikTok right now. She has a TikTok where she's like day 3 of pretending, or not pretending, but she is pretending. She's like quitting my job to become a full-time artist who lives on the road. And she's like, I didn't sell my painting today, but this woman did give me $20. No, bitch, you were panhandling, and she gave you $20. You weren't gonna sell your shitty painting.
Do you think in her SoundCloud rap career she's gonna release a diss on Cameron? Hey, yo, Cameron, you work for Yandere Dev. You a bitch.
Her music is like kind of like raver girl, like deep space type music where she's just repeating the same word over and over again, and she dances around looking super fucking zooted. So I mean, maybe
I'd rather listen to the screams of women.
I'd rather you take what Beavers listens to while he sleeps and what Mitch listens to when he sleeps, and just like mash it together into like just like this amalgamation of noise. I'd rather listen to that.
Yeah, the music is not good. The music is not good. I listened to it on stream. It is not good.
All right. So your video, you upload your video. Now I'm just gonna go one by one. So to make this easier, what were the reactions? Let's start with Ali MCC. What was the reaction to your video?
Oh my god. Oh. Okay, so Ali sees my video, and she's on stream when it comes out. I guess she got a notification about it. And you see Ali kind of have like a surprised look, and she gets like really sullen, right? She's really like upset. And I'm like, uh-oh. And then lo and behold, Ali's in r/Osana Discord talking about how I'm a bad person and how I did all these things and how I'm lying about her, and how I didn't listen to anything she said or whatever. And, she's basically just accusing me of a bunch of things. And there's stuff like, the word misogynist is thrown around. Many a sexist term that I am is happening in that. And then a bunch of the other people that were not involved in this story were mad that I didn't involve them even further in this story. So I was getting tons of messages from everywhere. I was getting tweets. This entire Discord server had gone from talking about Yandere Dev to talking about my video. Something like 200-300 people are all sitting around bitching and complaining about a video I did.
That's fucking hilarious. All right.
And then Cameron is messaging me, and he was like, "Great video, dude." Having not watched it all.
Because a lot of your video is shitting on Cameron, right? And also exposing some secrets he had.
Yes.
All right. So he does. So he's a retard, obviously. What about Anne? What was her reaction?
She went ballistic. She went fucking ballistic. I activated her. She was mad. She felt that well, first of all my calls were being sent to her anyway, so she knew my opinions. But she was saying that I was misrepresenting her and that she's going to get harassed and that I'm ruining her life. And that, like she was popping off in my DMs just repeatedly, right? She was in my message request for Twitter because this bitch, I did not want to talk to her after talking to her once. I'm like, this girl is crazy. But right up until the final moments before the video came out, she was like, how about you grow some balls and say something to my face? All right, bitch, I'll say something to your face.
There's 3 hours worth saying stuff to your face. All right, so she's not taking it very well. And I guess Yandere, any reaction from him at all?
None.
Zero.
None. Probably the best answer for him to give is to say nothing at all. That's really the best move he can do, right?
Has there been any reports of him being active anywhere, or has he been completely silent?
He's been pretty silent. He's been pretty silent.
You think he's gonna pop up in a year and be like, "All right, guys, Yandere Dev DLC coming soon"?
I know he's back away toiling at the game, but I doubt he's gonna have any of the clout that he kind of used to, because he used to get millions of views on his videos.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, not so much. This is the end. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So the video comes out. All those reactions happen. You do a live stream where Cameron calls in. Now, before I go into that, I don't know if we covered this or not in the conversation, but wasn't Anne making accusations against Cameron as well at one point? But then
she was accusing Cameron of rape,
and then she would go back onto his side.
Yeah, so she would say he touched me unconsensually, he like fucked me unconsensually, not using the same violent verbiage I'm using, but for all intents and purposes that's what she was doing. And then she would turn around and say, I didn't actually say that, I meant this, right? Which is something she does all the fucking time to try and recontextualize the conversation. But gotcha. Yeah, so she had been accusing Cameron right up until she got banned on Twitter.
Did Cameron know that he was being accused by her?
Yes, he was like, she's just having a manic episode.
Hey, yeah, she's just having a manic episode. She just accused me of rape. Not a big deal though. She'll take it back in like 2 days. It'll be fine. I love her.
Didn't Allie also pick up on that? Like she contacted Allie and got her to get involved in all of that.
Yeah. So Anne told Allie that she was going to see Cameron, right? Because she was always talking to all of them all the time. And basically she was like, Cameron is sending me pictures of his cock on Discord. And then you see the original image and it is not a cock and it is just some guy. You don't even know if it's Cameron. There's no way to confirm, right? But it's apparently a photo of them having e-sex, right? Mm-hmm. And she had told Allie that, yeah, I had to have sex with Cameron. He was so pushy, yada, yada, yada. So telling Allie what she wants to hear, right? Which is where Allie comes and makes it like a second video to try and get out ahead of mine because she knew it was coming. Where she accuses Cameron of these things and, very, very lightly because she doesn't want to commit. But yeah, Allie was fully aware. In fact, Allie had arranged a call between Anne and Crexa to talk about Cameron. where Krex is like, you need to go in there and record Cameron. You need to catch him in the act, and then when you do, you'll be good. You'll be done.
Leo
so now
Convoy
Krex
style.
yeah,
Jeez.
like.
All right, well, yeah, all that's happening. You do a live stream. Cameron calls into that live stream. He's been pretty much embarrassed by you in this video. Now, when I was listening to the live stream, I noticed he was very upbeat and very like chill, and almost sounded kind of weird. What was your impression of when he called in?
I honestly, people are like, he must have been high when he called in, and I don't think he was. I think he thought the video did not include the things that he said not to include. I think he just watched the parts about Dev and then didn't watch the parts about him yet. So he was hopping into a stream with me to like, try and brown nose me. So that way I would not cover the things he asked me not to cover, not knowing I had already covered them. So it was a lot of him brown nosing me and jerking me off, really. Like, it's really bad. And then I just start grilling him on stream.
You start pushing him, and he starts getting really weird. He starts speaking Chinese, right, or something?
Oh, I was like...
What?
I was like, but you fucked Ann, didn't you? Like, you said that to me in a call. And he's like, Hai Chi Hua, Bing Chiling. Hai Chi Hua, Bing Chiling.
So, yes.
Yes.
He literally did I'm driving in Oregon shit. Okay?
Yeah. So what are you thinking at this point after like enduring all this whole story, all these characters involved? What's your mindset now that the video's out and you're on this live stream and this guy's like acting weird?
As Cameron's losing his mind on my live stream and I'm watching everybody go ballistic, I'm like, I've done it. This is my magnum opus.
It's over.
There's nowhere else to go. Because all of them are so stupid, and then nobody, like Ali or any of the other people that I called out in the Osana camp, they like accused me and said things, but they didn't defend themselves. I would have had a conversation with Ali on a live stream. I would have debated her. I would have had a conversation about this, but she just decided to not address anything.
Right.
So like, what's the point? Like, none of these people have the balls to defend themselves. Except for Cameron, but he's too stupid to realize that I've just destroyed his entire life.
Jeez. Well, Becca, do you have any questions? Because I'm about to ask, like, what are they doing now, type thing.
I actually, that was gonna be my question, to be honest, because I mean, we're kind of a couple of weeks out now. Obviously, like the videos had an impact in like the surrounding communities. We've gone over Yandere Dev and like where he's at. Which is fucked. But yeah, so is there going to be another response to you, or are these people kind of like, well, probably best if we, never speak to Diesel again?
You'd think the answer would be don't speak to this fucking guy again, right? But that's not what happened. I almost got spoken to like immediately after. After Cameron had went back and watched the full video, I was just like chilling one afternoon and I get added to a group chat. And this is like nightmare scenario, right? Because it's me, Ann, and Cameron in a group chat. And I'm like, pause. This conversation doesn't go any further until I have somebody else here to make sure that I'm not going to be like debated. Right?
Right.
So it's just a text conversation, but it's myself, Nani from my news team, because she had all the screenshots just as I did. And we're asking Ann finally. We're talking to her finally. Right? And she was very pissed. So Nani and I were sitting in a Discord call, and I'm like, this girl keeps lying. She keeps moving to goalposts. She doesn't answer any questions. So we devised a plan. We started pitting them against each other. And as I would pressure, so I would say stuff, I'm like, wow, Cameron, you're letting this 16-year-old do this? What do you got, a collar on? She's whipping you around, man. What are you doing? And he's getting furious. He's typing in all caps and shit. And she's like, yeah, Cameron's a bit of a bitch. He does whatever I say.
Oh, what the fuck?
And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know Cameron was such a bitch. And she's like, yeah, we had sex. Like, she just said it, but then, and she would be like, oh, well, I did run a Discord where I taught people to groom. And then she would double back on it and say something that contradicts it. And she would constantly do things until the story was too confusing and too jumbled that we couldn't really address any of the questions because she would constantly move the goalpost, right? But she would admit to things. She would be like, yeah, I'd get Sims 4 DLC from blah, blah, blah. Or I get this from that guy. And I'm like, did you ever get stuff from Dev? And she's like, no, I haven't been able to yet.
Jesus. Well, how did the group chat end?
Shit. Well, I got kicked from it. And then in the time that I got kicked from it, she started grilling Cameron to add me back so she could talk to me. So I get added back and I see this whole argument between her and him where she's like, stop being such a pussy bitch. Let me do the fucking talking, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, fine, I'll add them back.
Did it just... What? So did anything else happen after that, or?
We had a back and forth for a little longer, but it basically was like not... She wasn't giving anything. But what we did know is that her and Cameron was... I mean, he was completely buck broken, right? And I know that she's talking to Dev. I know that she's still talking to all the involved parties. So nobody learned their lesson at all whatsoever, and continue to talk about it. Allie didn't address a single thing. I just checked her channel. She's back to doing her gaming content that nobody gives a fuck about. Cameron is still an ass kisser Andy for some reason. And the other one that I chastise was a TikToker called Decepticami, who's a femboy TikToker.
Are they a communist that is decepting everyone that they're a communist?
They're like a Transformers fan, so it's like Decepticons, right?
I know. I got that bit. I got the Transformers bit, but
and they're trans or whatever, right? So there's that. But
and they
Decepticami, Decepticami was really mad. I called him a moron, and I have the TM, and it's like, thanks for calling me a moron in your video, calling me a Reddit rumor propagator, which he is.
Yeah.
And then he said, thanks for interviewing me. Thanks for interviewing me too. You said you interviewed everyone and knew that we were all two-faced snakes. Even though, crazy enough, you never interviewed me, it just painted me in the worst light physically possible on purpose. So cool. Really good moves. You really earned my respect. And then they blocked me. It was like, okay, well, what? You want to talk about it or not? Like, you're just going to insult me and then hide behind a block? Like, what's the point? I'm not, offended. I don't give a shit. I don't want your respect.
I'm sorry, but the trans person that went with the name Decepticon knows where the name Decepticon comes from, right? It's because the Decepticons are deceiving. They get that, right?
They literally do that, though, too.
Yeah, I know they do that, but I know, but they don't view it that way. But anyway,
Mitch, most people don't know what Transformers are. Okay, yeah, we're old, buddy.
Fuck.
Is there anybody involved in any of this other than you, who's actually a redeemable human being?
Probably the one who first leaked it was a person named Bug. He is another trans TikToker, and he unfortunately listened to Anne in the beginning. Found out Anne was a liar and then dropped them. But unfortunately did irreparable damage by promoting Anne's story. And they reached out to me and, apologized for doing that. And then also said, thank you for doing this. I understand you're getting a lot of heat, yada, yada. But you did a good job. And this person was they were 19 as well, but they were showing emotional maturity that was leagues above people in their 30s. So I was very impressed by that.
You're making Dev's argument.
Yeah.
19 is legal. But it was almost insane how irredeemable and shitty these people are. And it's interesting because when I talked to Dev, a lot of the conversations weren't about anything much at all. Like, he's actually kind of fucking reasonable to talk to. You know, he likes tons of video games I like. Interested in media that I find interesting. And it's just insane to be like, oh, well, this guy is probably a pedophile. And it's just like, wow, that's so depressing. Like, he just threw away his life.
Is there going to be any legal ramifications to Yandere or anyone involved in this?
Shit. Okay, I know that the feds are involved. There have been multiple long conversations had, as well as email correspondence and the sharing of information. The feds are looking at everything from Discord, and in particular, they were very curious to know about the Reddit r/Osana. I cannot see this. Somebody will go to prison for this. There's no way somebody does not go to prison for this.
Question is who?
Diesel, you seem to have involved the feds like almost fucking immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And you looked at it and you were like, wow, this is really serious. We need to, this isn't just content. How did you manage to not be as retarded as 99% of all of the YouTubers out there that the minute they catch wind of this, they're like, well, we can't tell the police. I'll just make a fucking video on it.
I don't know what compels a person to not go to the feds. You know what compels a person to not go to the feds immediately? Right? Because I saw this brought up. They're like, oh, the police don't do anything. They serve their own purposes, right? The ACAB opinion. And I get that sometimes, but like, no.
I think that's projection.
Yeah, like that's projection.
I think I can tell you what actually is. I think a lot of these people are the type of people that, like, if they gotta order a pizza from the phone, they don't want to do it. They get someone else to do it. They get their mom to do it. They just don't want to go through that process of having to get in contact with the authorities because they have like whatever weird thing they make up, anxiety, whatever. I think that's the case. They just don't want to get involved in that route because they're like weird and true. They're just weird people, weird anime people that don't like don't socially interact with people and don't know like what to do in that situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I don't know if Allie is that person, right? Allie came off as a very headstrong woman. Mm-hmm. But then, the second, and don't get me wrong, I pressed her real fucking hard. She immediately came. Actually, maybe you're right, Matt. Maybe you're right. Now that
she comes off like a headstrong woman, but she's not coming at you at all. And you like, and it could be interpreted if you're an Allie fan that you defamed her character, right? That like it can be interpreted that way. That's the interpretation she could take it as, and in that case, she would come at you, but she's not doing it. She's hiding, running.
Well, also there's the whole thing about her telling the miner to go keep talking to the pedophile. Right, that might.
she didn't say it outright, but she would like gas her up, right? Be like, "You're gonna make a difference. You're gonna save people's lives, yada yada," right? But then she did put her in a call with somebody who did say, "Go record that shit," right? So that doesn't help. And and it's not to defend a Beaver's point, right? But she works with kids. Mm-hmm. Are you stupid? What if that was like your kid or like somebody you worked with? Like, you fucking monster. Fucking.
All right, so what we're gonna do is you're gonna go in the room with the pedophile and you're gonna record it on your phone.
Yeah,
Leo Convoy.
Leo
Convoy.
Hey, so when he comes in to molest you, I want you to like make sure your laptop camera's on, and then we'll just film it.
Yeah, and remember, he legally can't do it if you say no. So you're fine.
I remember this. I remember reading this story about this girl in high school, and she got sexually assaulted by a boy in the bathroom, and she went to the principal, and the principal's like, "I don't got any evidence. You're gonna like maybe you should just go back in there and see if you can like get a confession out of him or something." Like the principal literally said something like that. So she goes in to confront him, and the guy fucking rapes her like in the bathroom. So
get back in there, champ.
Don't let him win.
You can do it, Rocky.
First you don't succeed, go and try again.
Get up, Rock. Get up.
Get up. Don't just throw in the towel.
He raped you, Rocky. You got to do something.
He raped you. Now he's gonna go rape my kid. Wait, what? Wasn't it Apollo Creed? Oh no, sorry, that's the sequel later on. The kid comes back and fights that other guy, and Rocky trains him.
No,
And she's gonna one day train the kid of her rapist to go and rape somebody else.
I think
if we're gonna go down this rocky road,
that is you're going to speak to is breaking your fucking brain, mate.
Fire is to feel the fire.
Oh God!
He just starts blasting that over the intercom as he sent her back.
She's just walking to the bathroom, just like, yeah, I got this. Rapist is smoking a cigarette. Rapist is smoking a cigarette in the bathroom. And she walks in. And he's like surprised, like, "Wait, she came back."
Oh God!
This one's not going green.
Nah, I think we're good. We're good. All right. Final thoughts, FPS Diesel.
Final thoughts are, okay, I gotta be frank. I am so glad to actually finally be on like somebody else's thing and like actually talking about this. I am someone like, okay, don't get me wrong. I know I do good work and I appreciate the work in it of itself. But as someone who's like come into commentary and more of like a social aspect, it like killed me. I put out this video. I was like, this is it. This is gonna be the banger, the big one, right? And then it wasn't, and I was like, I'm a fraud, right? Because I've never in my entire life spent, 5 months of my life on a single project.
Yeah,
and I finished it, and I'm like, okay, it's over. I'm a crazy person. That's it. That was the whole point. Like it's Jover. So it was finally nice for you to ask, hey, do you want to come on and like talk about it? Because I was just like, oh, I guess I really missed. I dropped the ball or something, right?
You were the guy curled up in the corner, like, I know it's real. I know this happened. You gotta believe me. Seriously, this happened.
That's the thing. And I had a friend come to me recently, a very big YouTuber, and he was like, I don't know if you'll ever be able to do something this, and this is horrible, and I don't want people to say shit like this to me, but he's like, I don't know if you'll ever be able to do something like that again, but that was the best work I have ever seen from you. And I'm awesome. Just like, oh, that's great, but now I gotta top it, and that's hard, and impossible, really, I think. But
I think if you keep doing stuff like this, though, that video will get more views over time because people want to go back and see your work. And if that's the one that started all this, then it's going to get a lot of traction. I think if Yandere comes back or something, or this stuff kind of gets covered again, I think your video will get a lot of more views.
Also, if it goes to court,
yeah,
I think that's a big part of it because right now I remember I was going to do because I've talked to you about this, and I was going to start going over some of it, and people were like, oh well, why are you covering Yandere Dev? Like, who cares? And I was like, oh, it's because a lot of this hasn't the complexity of it hasn't really breached containment in that way. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's a slower burn. But yeah, I mean, fuck, you've sort of driven yourself insane doing this. I mean, I think the ultimate thing you need to do is take the typical YouTuber route and go insane and basically orchestrate the next one to top it. So you're the secret. Do the Mama Max thing.
I don't want to be a pedophile hunter so bad. I love doing like these things, like journalism stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love covering like internet drama lore type stuff. Like the video I am apprehensive to put out because it's coming right after the Yandere Dev video is a Thorpe's video, right? Yeah. And I like that stuff, but it's not what gets me up in the morning. And now I'm kind of like sitting here going, well, where's the next one?
Yeah.
And you got to find that, and it's hard because it doesn't just happen, right? I mean, it's out there, but you don't want to go looking for that thing either, right? That's
right.
It's all scary shit.
Yeah, no, it's absurd, and it is scary and intimidating. All
those. This is a normal person's response to this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of that anymore.
No, it's like, you know, the Mama Maxes of the world that like actively pursue all of this shit, right? And then you've got an FPS Diesel he's covered this stuff. He's like, I feel good about the coverage that I did, what I put out there, and I'd like to do something like this in the future. But also, I don't really want to be hunting these people all day. Do you know what I mean? That's like the normal person response. It's like a lot of emotional weight to it, right? But also, it feels good to get it out there.
It started freaking me out because it got normal. It got really easy to do, to like just lie to these people. And I was like what's wrong with me? These people are crazy.
This is how a journalist feels, Diesel. Welcome to the like you were like a legit journalist, like, you know, talking to these people their stories. You were literally one of those, like, you were like the New York Post or the New York Times writer, you know, talking in different
People are gonna
sides,
give me a fucking complex, bro.
gaining their trust. I did want to. There was one thing I forgot about mentioning, and maybe it was mentioned in the podcast, but at one point, when the stuff was coming out and Allie and Ann were starting to fight, Allie insinuated that Ann sent her something that was very illegal. What's the story behind that? You don't have to go into full detail or anything. Just,
so basically, Allie insinuated that Ann was had given Yandere Dev CP, and Dev had reciprocated in kind with like a dick pic. Which was like, at first she was presenting it to me as a rumor in private, but then when she started to have a falling out with Ann, she was presenting it as fact. And Allie ended up leaking everything. And in those files, there is no dick pic of Yandere Dev. In the files that I got her to leak to me via a third party, there was no dick pic.
Okay.
So she just lied about it the entire time, and it was never there.
Okay, gotcha. Last question about Yandere. How you think if this takes off, they'll take his Patreon away? Because I know that's Patreon's like his main source.
Yeah, it's his only source of income. I was told, and this is from Cameron, unreliable narrator, of course, that his family helps keep him afloat and house him and shit. So
gotcha. Because they take away his Patreon, then you know what's going to happen. He's going to be bad with money. Those who are also bad with money: Jada with a Y, Strictly Patrick, Sliggins, Gitzaberry, Darcy Evans, Ringtail, Stefan Corbino, Joe Vile. Channel has been deleted. K-Hutcast, Pigeon Salad, Echo Tragedy, Brooke Gay, Fresh Brewski, Reynold Hughes, and Name. If you want to be bad with money, you can pay $14.99 a month. Get your name set after every podcast episode and every live stream. If you can't afford that, become a Beaver lover. That's only $9.99 a month. Get you into priority calls and also early access to now recording podcast episodes. So if you're a Beaver lover, you're probably watching this early. And if you can't afford that, the Stumpies, $4.99 a month, gets you access to membership live streams, membership premium episodes, as well as paywall text channels and VCs in the Discord server. And those are our membership tiers. Anything else, gentlemen?
I want someone to go to prison for once.
I'm sick of these episodes. I'm sick of these fucking episode topics. I'm fucking sick of it.
Well, you slid in there with the bad with money thing, right? Mm-hmm. But fucking imagine having a kid who's unemployed, which is, you know, fair enough, it happens, right? But then he's fucking making the Yandere Dev fucking video game, and I have to pay your fucking bills, bro. I think I could do it. I think I'd disown you.
You're paying for all that RAM, dude. Diesel, any last things you want to say?
Fucking watch me live at Diesel IRL. I'm live multiple times a week, all the time.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this episode and this piques your interest, please realize there's a way more detailed version of this on FPS Diesel's channel. It was his latest upload. Go check that out. The link will be in the description. Beckett, Toxic, Core, Mitch, anything else, guys?
Now recording is always recording.
Let's go.
All right, now that the bots are gone, I can actually explain. I couldn't give my take on the episode because then it would have just opened a can of worms that I wasn't really in the mood for.
Yeah, no, this is peaceful now. Well done, buddy.
I am of the belief right? I am of the belief that pedophiles have a compulsion.
6 hours later.
In my opinion.
Beavers.
What?
Would you like me to stop recording on OBS now?
I was like, who's going to remind him? That's what you get for getting here late, buddy.
All right, let's not include the section in the thing, please.